It's like paradise, a haven for healing, just as Amanda David envisioned.
It's just an acre and a half, but it's a really beautiful land. In the space, we have a classroom space where we do a lot of classes and workshops. We have a cabin where we process the herbs and make medicine, where we have a free medicine shelf where we give out teas and salves and tinctures freely to the BIPOC community.
There are goats and chickens too. A place so serene, you can just smell the fresh air. And hear the birds tweeting ever so sweetly, so peaceful, so serene, so...
Fucking neighbor. Worst fucking thing that happened to the fucking neighborhood.
But this black woman's heaven turned into a living hell, thanks to her white neighbor in Blackland.
And now,
as a brown person, you just feel so invisible.
That's not fiction. Where we're from.
Brothers and sisters, I welcome you to this joyful day.
We celebrate freedom. Where we are.
Get on the ground!
I know someone heard something.
And where we're going.
We the people means all the people.
The Black Information Network presents Blackland with your host, Vanessa Tyler.
It's like the devil invading paradise. Herbalist, educator, founder, and primary land steward of the People's Medicine School, Amanda Davis, welcome to Blackland.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
What's going on there?
Yeah, so we've just been living a nightmare for the past 3.5 years. My family and I purchased a property. I am an herbalist and a farmer, a place where we were planning to create a sanctuary for Black and Brown folks to reconnect to the land, a place where I could grow herbs and make medicine, a place where my family could live and grow and thrive. And kind of right from the beginning, we have just been harassed relentlessly by our neighbor, who is he's extremely racist. He doesn't want Black folks living in the neighborhood, and he's made it clear through just ongoing violence for years and years.
Wow.
Yeah, and it got to the point where we need to relocate for our safety.
Her farm, where she runs the People's Medicine School, is not in some deep southern backwoods. It's located in New York, upstate New York, a town called Brooktondale, very close to Ithaca in Tompkins County.
And upstate New York, where we live, it's very, very different from the city. It's quite rural. It's predominantly white folks where we live. Ithaca is an interesting town because it's touted as being this very like liberal haven where everyone is welcome and everyone has like a Black Lives Matter sign in their yard. We have Cornell University here at Ithaca College, so people really think that it's like this very like enlightened town where like social justice is something that really people care about and racial justice is something that people care about. And, it's just proven to be not really the case, sadly, when people are faced with like a direct incident of, a neighbor who is going through like severe racial harassment.
What are the authorities saying and doing?
So it's been, it's been a long road. I think in the beginning, they weren't really believing me. They weren't really taking it serious. But, the police have been called to the property on numerous occasions. He's been arrested 3 times at this point. We have a full order of protection that he's violated many times. And it's kind of no matter what he seems to do, there's no consequences of that are significant enough to make him stop. He's threatened my child to beat him with a stick when he was 16 years old. He went to court for that. No consequences. He's damaged our property. He's shot out security lights on our property. He's damaged our vehicles. I mean, the list really just goes on and on of the constant harassment and intimidation. And yeah, they'll come, they'll talk to him, they'll ask him to stop, and he'll go to court, and they just allow it to continue to happen. I've had officers come to my door after he's intimidated us with weapons, telling me that I just have to figure out how to get along with my neighbor.
I understand that he had guns removed because there were concerns, obviously, about weapons, especially as you say, he shot out the security lights.
Yeah, absolutely. And the really unfortunate part about it is when they arrested him for shooting out the security light, that happened when there was already an order of protection in place. So it was a violation of the order of protection, which should have resulted in jail time. They arrested him, they removed his weapons, and then when he went back to court for the actual court date, they gave him a plea bargain and returned his weapons to him.
So as we speak, he has his weapons back.
Yes. Yep.
The neighbor, identified in police reports as Robert Whitaker Jr., a one-man terror squad. And when he drinks, which she says is often, here, listen as he admits himself, the N-word rolls so easily off his lips to Amanda David and her 3 children.
When I start drinking, I think about these worthless fucking niggas.
You said this started from day one. You moved in, you started your gardens, and immediately you were met with the racism.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been here in 2020, we moved in, and then in 2021, we purchased the property. And it basically did start right away. It kind of started mostly with like inappropriate comments, him trespassing on the property constantly, saying remarks like, "Oh, how can you afford to be here? Like, what are you doing here?" And, it got to the point where we decided that we had to fence in the entire property. So,
And that was an expense, I'm sure.
oh, huge. We actually were very fortunate. We worked with an organization called Black Farmer Fund, and we got a grant to put the fence up. But it was, like $50,000 to fence in the entire property. And sadly, that really caused him to escalate. Once the fence went up, it just got so much more intense and so much worse, and like just so much more violence. Up until that point, he wasn't like, using racial slurs. He wasn't calling us the N-word constantly. He wasn't, he was trespassing, but after the fence went up, it was constantly, we're being called the N-word, constantly we're being threatened. He built, when the fence was, first went up, he built us some steps so that he could still look over the fence and yell at us. And it just went, we really hoped that investment in the fence was going to protect us and draw a boundary, and it really just set him off.
I've got nothing to do with your fucking fence down there. Nothing to do with your goat stealing fucking chicken fuck whatever the fuck you think is going on.
She shared with me videos and photo evidence she's documented all these agonizing years. She lives on the little more than 1 acre plot, and her 3 kids, the neighbor calls them the N-word too.
My son was 16 when the neighbor threatened to beat him with a stick. And, that was a couple years ago. And I think the thing that there's so many things that feel really hard and sad about this, but, my children, particularly my youngest, like this started when she was like 9, and like for so much of her childhood at this point, from like, 9 through 12, she's been regularly called the N-word, regularly harassed.
Because the farm has small animals, the farm used to be a favorite for children to visit.
Definitely, it's a lot of Black people who would come whenever we have events, classes. We have like school groups of Black children come out, like to do, some have painted murals, some come to just like play with the animals, some come for tours. And he, the yelling would happen when there's like 6 and 7-year-old here. He shot off guns when we had a group of Black teens out here. He doesn't want to see us out here, and he's made it super clear and really has had no boundaries around if it's a child or if it's an adult, like he doesn't care. He doesn't, after all the arrests and all of the things, he just doesn't stop.
I reached out to the Tompkins County Sheriff's Office, didn't hear back. At this point, she says she feels she's on her own. Calling the sheriff is pointless.
You calling the cops now? Go call the fucking cops. Fucking stupid fucking cunt.
I mean, they've been here so many times I can't even explain, but there was points where they wouldn't come without backup because he was always so belligerent and horrible to them. So they wouldn't come without backup, and now they're to the point where like they won't come.
The farm is sacred to Amanda and her community. Growing herbs, medicine is a part of our roots when the cure to everything came from the soil in Africa.
I feel like our connection to land that we brought with us when we were stolen from Africa and brought to this land has been what has sustained us, what has kept us alive and kept us resilient, being able to call on our ancestral practices of growing food, of connecting with the plants and making medicine. Is something that's kept us here. Without that, there's so many of the systems in this country are not built for us. They're not built to help keep us healthy or safe or fed. And, we can see this throughout the history of Black folks being in this country. And so by us having this connection to the land and being able to meet these needs for ourselves is huge. It's why we've been able to survive. And I think our connection to land not only sustains us, but it also connects us to our ancestors and provides us all of the answers that we need to survive and to thrive. And so what we're really, trying to do here is to reestablish that connection with the land. And through that, not only are we offering people a way to take care of their health, to eat better food, to be able to have some resources that they can rely on if, the medical system isn't meeting their needs, but we're also building relationships with each other so that we can create the community that, that we need to survive. Community is the answer. And when there's so many systems that aren't here for us, we need to be able to rely on each other. And so that's really the point of the garden, kind of the healing that we're trying to bring into the world. And the fact that, this one person has been able to literally destroy that.
A destruction we've seen before, as American as apple pie.
It's a continuation of what Black farmers have faced for all time in this country. If, people have been terrorized off their land from the beginning here. And then it's like, then it was redlining, then it's like not being able to get loans. It's just a continuation of this like effort that seems to be supported by many of the systems that are in place to keep Black farmers and Black folks off land so that they don't have ownership of land, so that they can't. I think because land is it's the base of so many resources, and by keeping Black people away from that, it's so detrimental to the individual Black person and also to their community. And I think this just, is just sadly in 2024 a continuation of what's happened to us since the beginning.
She says there's no support from those who live around her either.
He is friends with the neighbors on the other side of me. So oftentimes, if the police go to his house and have an interaction with him, there's so many occasions when then he'll, come past my house, give us the finger, yell at us, say something, and then go over to the neighbors on the other side. And then, they're over there kind of laughing and joking about the situation. So sadly, in the immediate area, the people immediately surrounding me, they seem to be in support of him and what he does. He yells all the houses nearby can hear him when he's yelling at us.
What the fuck is wrong with you? got somebody to blame your stupid fucking shit on?
Robert Whitaker has roots in the town. She suspects that's why nothing's been done.
His family's been in the area for generations. There's like, roads named after him, and his family's been in the local government. Yeah, they're very entrenched in this area, for sure. So I think that definitely plays a part into how it's going down the way it's going.
She's had enough. She's selling, packing up the farm, and moving away from the stress, away from the danger.
It was an extraordinarily difficult decision to get to the place where coming to terms with moving off this piece of land that, I love so much, is the only safe way to move forward. Like, that was a really hard decision. There's a lot of expense associated with moving. The housing market is very different in 2024 than it was when I purchased this house in 2021. And so we have identified a piece of property that we think could work. The land is really lovely, and we think it'd be a great place to run our programming and to have the community garden, to rebuild those there. The house needs some work, like the house needs some work, and it's still like, almost 3 times the amount that I paid for the house that I'm currently in. So the biggest thing now is really just trying to fundraise so that we can get out of here as quickly as possible, get into the new home, get the repairs done, get the infrastructure built, and then to, be able to live our lives again. Also, this has cost so much money. We've put up, we have like so many security cameras. We've had to do so many things to try to stay secure in our home. And so, the financial burden of this has been really unbelievable.
She set up a GoFundMe. The title? Help Us Relocate Black Farmer-Owned Rootwork Herbals. So far, it's doing well, raising half of what's needed.
So the GoFundMe has been amazing. At this point, we are close to raising $100,000. The goal is to raise 200. And it's really been beautiful to see. Like, I think we have like 900 people at this point who have donated.
Until she raises the rest, she has to stay and pray for her safety.
Going public with this was really difficult. At first, I just really was scared to go public because of the retaliation from him and the people that support him. That really kept me from going public for a long time. And now that we have gone public and, people are pouring in support to the GoFundMe and sending so many like kind words, it's just really it's filling my heart and really like giving me hope that getting out of the situation is possible. So just so extremely grateful to all the people supporting. And it's like, it's some people, it's like they have very little themselves and they're sending like $5 and $10, and that's just like so incredibly beautiful.
She does have friends who volunteered to come help if they can get there in time.
Dumb fucking cunt.
We do have a rapid response team. Whenever, if he's like circling the house on his 4-wheeler or if he's yelling, we have folks that we call and they'll show up to help keep us safe. So that's kind of what we're doing to try to stay safe until we can permanently leave the property.
Her task now is to sell the place, but who would want to live near him? She has to be selective.
I do have a realtor, and we're trying to like figure out how to sell it, because how much do we disclose? Like, we obviously couldn't sell it to like a Black person. He also is very anti-gay, very homophobic, has said all sorts of things about, and like, gosh, I couldn't sleep at night if I sold it to someone, a Black person, a brown person, a gay person. I would feel horrible if somebody else came in here that he, decides that he hates and something happens.
But the mission has to continue, the healing, the miracles that sprout from the land.
I have a website where you can go for all sorts of information about the work that we do. It's rootworkherbals.com. On that website, there's, all sorts of information about the garden. I also have an online herb school, which is called the People's Medicine School. And it's a really beautiful 6-month curriculum. And people from all over the world join in that course. So that's a really fun way that people can plug in if they're interested in learning more about herbal medicine. There's links to the GoFundMe on the website, and that's kind of the best place I think to get a sense of what we're doing and how to connect. Through the website, you can contact us. Feel free to email us. We're just so happy to connect with community who are in support of what we're doing, no matter where they are.
Amanda David, herbalist, educator, primary land steward of Rootwork Herbals, the People's Medicine School. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you helping to share our story. It really means a lot. Thank you.
And may your garden return to the peace needed for healing.
Thank you.
I'm Vanessa Tyler. Be sure to like and subscribe because a new episode of Blackland drops every Friday.